nice morning to be out. Rained basically all day yesterday, so it's pretty quiet in the woods this morning, but let me slip in here pretty quiet too. Getting be pretty good daylight now. Just had four does come basically right underneath the tree. They filtered off down the ridge. And earlier, right away, first light, as I was setting the camera up, I thought I could hear what sounded like a deer making a scrape. It was pretty dark, but that's what it sounded like. It sounded like a deer pawing at a scrape. And then silence. And then a couple minutes later, same thing. That buck followed me in. Basically, he came exactly right on my track. And right as I got the cameras situated, I saw him 35, 40 yards, and he was looking at me or in my direction. Maybe it was too dark, you couldn't tell what I was. I had to knock an arrow. I didn't have time to take my quiver off my bow. Maybe I should have. But he ended up circling up the hill around me, made a rub at 35 yards. I had what should have been a pretty easy shot at 28 yards broadside. Meh, meh, meh. Oh, man. I had him at probably 25 yards. And I think I actually shot in front of him or grazed the front of his chest. I'll watch the video back, but that's a big old brute of a buck. I think it's a 6.5-year-old buck. This year, he's got a bunch of palmation, and I just blew it. Cool, awesome encounter though. And he's definitely not hurt too bad. He jumped off 30 yards, stopped, and took off snorting, so odds are I'll never see him again. But it was a pretty darn cool encounter with a big old buck like that. So nice morning. We'll keep sitting. Hopefully we see some more deer. So I sat all morning. It's 12:30. Gave it a pretty good long sit this morning, based on the fact that it's the end of October. And climbed down. I had shot at that big buck this morning. Climbed down to get my arrow here, and there's actually blood on my arrow. So I'm gonna follow a blood trail that I was not anticipating. Based on that shot, I thought it was clean miss this morning. And I don't know, it's possible I got an artery there in his neck. Either way, we got blood, we're going to follow it. I followed blood across the CRP field. Found a very good bed where he bled a lot. And picked up blood. He cut back through here. And he was just getting ready to head into this thick, nasty woods. This area is basically impenetrable. That buck cut right in on this trail right here. As soon as he got in, he turned right and we found a dead buck here. Quite the hunt. Definitely unusual and not the way I would have liked for it to happen, to have put a bad shot on this buck, but I have a feeling he bled out fairly quick. He made it about 200 yards is all he made it. So awesome looking buck right there. Cool, probably 6.5-year-old buck. From my camera pictures of him, I would estimate him at 6.5. This buck didn't live on the property that I hunt. I think he actually lived back in here where we found him somewhere. I have trail camera pictures of this buck going back a few years, and he'd only show up on my cameras once, maybe twice a year during the rut. I'd just get him passing through. Coincidentally, the neighbor, Jason here, he sent me a text yesterday afternoon with a picture of this buck, trail camera picture, saying, hey, if you shoot this buck, let me know, I'd like to see it. I didn't really think much of it because I hadn't seen this buck, haven't given it any thought until yesterday when he sent that. And sure enough, this morning he walked in and we ended up getting an arrow through it. He is a beast, and he's been around a few years for sure.